Hello everyone and welcome to What's Beth Doing? Well, today I'm in my craft room and I'm going to be making some tic-tac-toe boards out of the Dollar Tree dice that you get at Dollar Tree. So stay tuned and we'll get cracking. So when I was looking on Pinterest trying to find how to paint these dice, I could not find a complete tutorial. So that is what I want to do for you today, to show you exactly what it's like to paint on these hard foam dice. And the project that I've done was the tic-tac-toe boards. And like I said, couldn't find a complete tutorial, so this is what I'm going to do. So what you need 9 of these dice. They come in a 2-pack. So yes, you're going to have to buy one extra, and that's okay. Like I bought several extra so I could make another little sign. Yeah, they do the ones that say love and home and different things on them. So I made sure I had enough extra for that. So that worked out just fine. So you will need some chalk paint. This is a sheepskin, so it's a little bit off-white. Or you can use a white. You can actually use any color you wanted. That's fine. If you wanted to do so many of these one color and so many of another, that'd be fine. But I am using the chalk paint on this. And you will need these frames, and they come with a little piece attached to them. Well, I want to make sure it sat good and flat, so I pulled that off. And when I did, I pulled a lot of the backing off. Each one of my 3 frames, this one pulled off perfectly clean, this one left a little piece, and this one pulled off a good bit of piece. Well, I scraped it off with a scrapie. I ended up having to get the razor blade. And then when I got the bigger chunk of it off, I took a paper towel and wet it just a little bit and rubbed the rest of it right off without ruining this whatsoever. Because I believe with this particular finish, I'm not going to paint this. I'm just going to paint the inside. And that's what I did with the buffalo check one. It says blessed and grateful, and that'll be on the bottom. I left the buffalo check and I painted just the inside of the box, so it looks cleaner and nicer. So that's what we're going to do today. Move this stuff out of the way, and we're going to get started. We're going to actually paint some new ones. We're going to finish up painting these, and these are completely painted. So these are all done, and these are ready to be antiqued. So we will start with our cubes. I'm just going to pour out my paint and get going. That did take 2 coats to completely cover the color. It did take 2 coats of this paint, and I try to put it on kind of thick, so I wouldn't have to do too much to them. Put a good thick coat on. Just get it on there at first. We're going to go back over and smooth it all out. Because you're going to be putting your X's and your O's on it, so you want at least a couple of your sides to be nice and smooth and pretty. Alright, I've got that all nice and smooth except for where my fingers are, and you can't avoid that. And once that dries, I'll go back and fill in the bottom. So all those are done. Now let me get the finger off my paint, the paint off my fingers, and we're going to antique our set that we've already got done. So this set's complete besides antiquing. It's all dry, it's ready to go. I've got a fan brush. These are nice when you want to just barely brush something on, dry brush. I really like these. I'm going to use this plate. You don't need too much paint. That's probably too much to dry brush because you're just barely gonna get it in and you're gonna wipe it all off. It's easier to put more on. It's hard to take it off. And we're just gonna kind of go right around the very edges. Play like that, just on the edges. Give it a little bit. Just kind of give it the rustic look. Normally, if you're using chalk paint, you would go back and take some sandpaper or something and scuff it. But using these dice, we're not going to be able to do that. We obviously don't want green showing through. So just add just some black until you kind of like your look. I think that looks good. I'm going to kind of do the whole set. And see how far, this is going a long way. Little goes a long way. You can do some on the sides if you want to make them look a little rustic, but you obviously want to leave two sides plain because that's where you're going to put your X's and O's. You could even put the initials of the couple, like my son is married now, and I think what I'm going to do instead of X's and O's, I'm going to put their first initial instead of the X's and O's. I thought that would be cute. So once you get all of your dice antiqued, I want to antique this board. I did do around the sides. I left the bottom, and I thought, well, that's okay if they wanted to turn it over for some reason, but I left the bottom plain. But I'm going to antique the sides. And the edge. Okay, so now we have all of our blocks antiqued. We've got our box antiqued. And the only thing left now is to put our X's and O's or initials, or if you had a Cricut machine or something, you could, print you out something to stick on there. That would be cool too. So you could really personalize it. You could even put pictures of people, I guess, decoupaged on there. All kinds of ideas. Let your imagination run wild as far as that goes. So that's our next step, is to put our X's and O's on this box. Okay, so now we have all of our blocks painted and antiqued. My option of what I wanted to do, I don't own a Cricut or anything like that. So my thought is I'm going to take some carbon paper and I'm going to lay that down first. Then I'm going to take my O, center that one. I'm going to trace around my O. Because you don't want me doing handwriting on anything. I'm one of those people that has chicken scratch handwriting, I must admit. So, got my O on there. Okay, so on the X, I painted that with paint. Did it the same way, put my X down with the carbon paper, painted that with paint. And then I did the O with a black Sharpie. That came out just as good, if not better. So that is the route I am going. So I just take my Sharpie and I'm going to trace around. And then I'm going to just color it in. I think that's one thing that's great about chalk paint is it allows you to do a lot of different things to it because of the texture. It's flat, it's rough. And you have a little bit more control with the Sharpie. And sometimes you do with a paintbrush. Sometimes the paintbrushes can be difficult. So there you go. I've got my O on there. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm taking a little bit of my Waverly clear wax, because it is chalk paint, and I'm just putting a thin little coat over my blocks and go right over the Sharpie just to kind of seal them. And that one's done. So it's pretty easy. It was an easy project. Cost me about $5, $5.50 a piece to make the tic-tac-toe boards, which is a nice little size gift. And it's just Easter. My kids are grown. You know, they don't need all the candy and all the, you know, that kind of stuff. They're in their 20s and late 20s. So this would just be a nice gift for them that they can enjoy, especially with the time we've got on our hands now. So give it a try. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next time. Stay tuned for a word from our sponsors. Thanks for watching What's Beth Doing? And now a word from our sponsors. Sutton Mill Creek Hickory Syrup. It is a wonderful thing. You can put on pancakes, breakfast foods, biscuits, waffles, sausage, or it makes a wonderful meat and salmon glaze. Salmon's a huge thing they use it for. So try some today. We have toasted marshmallow. The kids will love that. Comes in original hickory, bourbon hickory, pecan hickory is my top seller, and it's a finalist in the Flavor of Georgia contest. And we have hickory heat, and that comes in original or bourbon also. So go to www.suttonmillcreek.com and try some today.